I'm Summer Hammonds with hammondsnest.com, and you're watching Hometalk.
All right, on this episode, y'all, I have these 4 frames that I picked up at my local Dollar Tree. So they're pretty cute as they are, but I wanted to kind of give them a different finish. I'm going to work on painting the frame and showing y'all how to do that and antiquing that corrugated metal that's on the background. But these are pretty cute for $1 each. But you would need 4 of them for this DIY because we're making a decorative box. But I'm going to go ahead and take all the frames apart. And there's a little clip that's included on each one of them because they were meant to hold photos, like a 2x3 photo. And so I'm going to go ahead and remove that clip. Now, once you get all these taken apart, it's time we're going to first work on aging that metal a little bit. Again, if the shiny metal is your style, you could totally skip this part. But I decided I would show y'all a fun technique for giving it a little bit of an aged look. I just have the burnt umber color by Faux Art, and I spritzed it with water, so I'm kind of making my own custom glaze. I love doing that. And then I'm going to just take a brush and I'm going to paint it on all of the 4 metal pieces. Now, without letting it all the way dry, I'm then going to take a paper towel and I'm going to blot it to kind of give it a faux finish type of look. If you see this and think maybe kind of rust or just kind of aged metal, we're going to come back and work on that some more, but we're going to go ahead and blot all 4 of these and then set them to the side so they can dry completely before we do another step. Next, we have these frames. Again, super cute, the unfinished look on them, but I wanted them to kind of have a lighter feel, so I decided to choose white chalk paint. And so I have some white chalk paint that I'm just lightly dusting. I don't want to worry about having to sand these, so I'm just being very light on my paint, on my brush, and kind of just giving them a dry brushed effect. So not full coverage here. Okay, these are some cute little caps that I picked up at a local craft store. They're going to be the feet to my box. And I'm taking the same wash, the little color stain wash that I used on the metal, and I'm going to kind of stain them essentially with that paint. So wiping it on, painting it on, wiping it off, and it creates that stain look. Gonna get all 4 of those done and let them dry. Okay, next I have a little piece of just scrap craft wood that is cut to 7 inches by 6 inches, specifically for this DIY. If you choose to use some other kind of frames for your craft, you'll just want to measure what you'd want your base to be. And I'm just painting the edges and painting the inside because I want the whole inside of my box to be white. You'll kind of see how it all comes together when we start assembling it. Set that to the side to dry. Now I'm pulling out the craft boards that we're holding all the frames in. And so I'm going to focus on the side that's going to show on the inside of the box and get all that white chalk painted as well. So if you're keeping up, I've got all parts of the frames painted the white. The metal has a dark little brown glaze on it. And then my base is white as well, and my feet have been stained. Now back to that metal, like I told you, I have some black chalk paint, and I'm just going to dab that and actually use my paper towel instead of a paintbrush and just kind of blot it here and there. So you see how that just kind of, don't overthink that, just put it in a couple spots. Really helps tone down that shine. So if rustic is your style, aged metal is your style, you might want to do this, and you might could use this technique on another DIY. Lastly, after all that is dried, to seal in my really cool aged metal finish, I like to use Mod Podge, which is just a glue and a sealer, and it's going to dry to a matte finish, dulling that shine even more, and I really like the way that looks. Okay, so now we've got that base, which again for mine is 6 inches by 7 inches, that little piece of wood. We're flipping it over on the bottom, and we're going to glue these wooden cap feet on. I'm using a combination of E6000 industrial glue and hot glue. The industrial glue will slowly set over time, providing a really nice quality adhesion. And then the hot glue almost works like a clamp, and it holds it in place for the time being so that the industrial glue can do its job. And flip it right side up, really. And we're going to start assembling our frames. Get all those frames put back together, but without the clips. And so now this is what it'll look like once it's all glued, but then we're going to start gluing each frame on. Using, again, the combination of E6000 industrial glue and hot glue, we're going to go ahead and get our first frame in, then pull the other ones away, and then start assembling piece by piece. Lastly, remember that little clip that I told you that we could repurpose? I glued a magnet on the back of it, and I had some cute little art here, and I just thought I would give you the idea, if you end up making this, that you could just change out the art on the front to whatever you were in the mood for, or you could put a little picture or a little quote or something. So, and as far as what you actually use the box for, I did put a live plant in. It had a planter in it, and I put some moss on top just to show you what it would look like in your home possibly, but I'm sure you could come up with some other ideas as well. But anyway, it's just fun, the little interchangeable front if you wanted to do that. If not, you could just leave it plain, just like this. Again, I'm Summer with HammonsNest.com. Thanks for hanging out and watching this project come together on Home Talk.